Motus was an engine company run by motorcycle fanatics. The idea was the engine business would scale and grow over time, while the low-volume hand-built motorcycles would be the halo demo product for the engine. Their production motorcycles, the MST and MST-R, are a perfect expression of what an iconic motorcycle should stand for. It was designed with a passion and emotion that has not been diluted away through committees and focus groups like most other production motorcycles. It doesn't try to do everything well. In fact, it has intentional spec sheet shortcomings because staying true to the bike's character was more important to Motus than selling more motorcycles. The magic of the Motus starts with the engine, the epic 100 cubic inch 1650cc baby block V4 that is derived from and inspired by the GM pushrod V8. It's a 2-valve per cylinder, liquid-cooled pushrod V4 that will look very familiar to anyone that has spent time with the LS V8s. We have a gorgeous example of a MST-R. The R model gets the higher 180 horsepower output over the base model's 165, and it does that by using a higher lift cam, titanium valves, and different ignition and fuel mapping. The engine is also used as a stressed member or a structural component of the frame, which is a gorgeous hand-built steel trellis design with a separate rear subframe, similar to what Ducati used on their superbikes in the pre-Panigale era. The spec sheet for this bike reads like a superbike build with top-shelf aftermarket brands and parts. We've got BST carbon fiber wheels, an Öhlins TTX rear shock with remote preload adjustment, front Öhlins road and track adjustable forks, Sargent seat, Brembo monoblock calipers, Magura master cylinders, Galfer rotors, and a hand-built engine and frame. It's nuts. And this is a sport touring bike. So you get a front power port, optional dual rear power ports, a GV luggage rack, and an alternator with a crazy 93 amp max output. It can power any accessory you could throw at it. So now let's talk about riding. The seating position is very spacious. Taller riders will feel comfortable on this bike. The upper body position is sporty but comfortable. A bit more lean forward than a more touring-focused sport tourer, but still very comfortable. The grips are a bit wider, they're larger diameter, so this helps reduce forearm and wrist fatigue. The Sargent seat, to me, is firm, but has a very comfortable shape. On the road, the bike feels very light and nimble, which is very impressive considering its weight at 580 pounds. Turn-in is surprisingly quick, the bars feel very light, very little effort needed to turn in, and the rate of acceleration and braking made it feel like a much lighter bike. The power delivery feels like a flat torque curve from 2000 RPM all the way to redline. It just pulls and pulls, no peaks or spikes in power, just very linear. I had read about the throttle being difficult to control at low RPM and low speeds, but I personally didn't notice this at all, quite the opposite. The clutch was light, easy to modulate, the bike was very easy to control and maneuver at low speeds, and the engine is just incredibly smooth, all over the RPM range. It's got this big, badass pushrod V8 low peak cam character, and it has all the top shelf parts and specs to handle corners, acceleration, and braking in the same league as elite sport bikes. So here's where the Motus can fall short for some riders. It's not a do-everything bike. It wasn't designed by committee. Anything that Motus felt was unnecessary, they left out. There is no ABS, there's no traction control, no ride modes, no electronic suspension, no quick shifters or cruise control. So yes, those features do require resources to develop and calibrate that Motus likely didn't have access to, but not including those features also shape the personality and purpose of this motorcycle. So I hope you enjoyed our 5-minute moto review. Please be sure to check out our website at almamoto.com.